In this question, we're just going to look at a very simple orthographic question. It's just going to cover the basics in of our auxiliary view also. Okay, so with that, we'll just have a look what the question says. It says the image on the right shows an outdoor play area in the shape of a boat. Okay, you can see it there, the outdoor play area. There's a bit of a canopy over and there's 4 poles going up the side. Okay, a slope front. It says below shows an isometric view of a similar boat. Our isometric is our 3D view of that boat there. Okay, it says draw the elevation of the boat looking in the direction of arrow A. Project a plan from the elevation and draw the auxiliary of the boat projected from the plan, which will include the true shape of surface A. Okay, so you can see it there, that's the overall boat. So the overall width of it, okay, we're looking at our elevation. The arrows here pointing up towards the left hand side, so that tells us our elevation is going to go up towards the left hand side. Okay, so we're looking in that direction, our elevation goes up towards left. The plan is always straight underneath the elevation. Okay, all points are always straight underneath our elevation in our plan. Okay, well, I have surface A there just hatched in. Okay, so we want to find the true shape of that. We need to look directly at surface A or 90 degrees to it. So that's what it asks us to do. It asks us to use an auxiliary elevation. So coming from our plan, we then need to projecting up 90 degrees to surface A. Okay, so we just need to think about that when we're laying it out in the sheet, space-wise and all and where it fits. Okay, so the overall width of the boat, as we're looking at an elevation, is 120, and the overall height is 10 and 65 is 75, and 15 is 90. So the overall height is 90, overall width is 120. In plan then the overall depth is 80. Okay, that canopy in the top is 60 wide, but we can see it's stepped in there as well, 10 each side. Okay, then poles that were up in the photograph, okay, they're just represented just by single lines going up along from the base of the boat up to the canopy at the top. Okay, so just line that out there now. So I'm just going to draw basically the box that the elevation is going to fit into, and I know it's 120 wide and 90 high. Okay, so on my ground, on my XY as we call it, okay, I'm just going to line out 120, 20, and it's going to be up an overall height of 90. So I just draw them lightly up. I'll measure 90 on it now in a second, rather than trying to just draw a line a specific length. Okay, so from my XY, 90 high, pencil on the point, and across. So that's the overall box now that my elevation fits into. The height of the base is at a height of 15 mil. Okay, the thickness of that base piece is 15 mil. Mark off by 15, line it in. Now, there is going to be an edge here. Obviously, we're changing the shape. I cannot draw in that edge yet. I do not know this distance, or I do not know this distance here. Okay, I will have to wait till I have my plan done, and then I can project back up to get that edge. Okay, I can do the rest of the canopy, however. Okay, so it's in distance here of 10. It's 60 mil wide. Take that straight up. Thickness of the canopy at the top is 10 mil thick. And I can draw in that there's a pencil on the point, teeth go up to it, and I can draw in my canopy. So I'm just going to outline everything now that I know it's heavy. So that much there is heavy. The poles down the side. Canopy there. All this here is heavy. The edge of the front is heavy. Over here. Okay, so that's as much as the elevation that I can draw. At the moment, I'm now going to drive on and put in the plan. So the plan is projected directly underneath my elevation. Okay, so straight underneath my elevation is my plan. Okay, for the sake of this, I'm just going to label out parts of my plan here. I'm going to label top edge 1, 2, 3, I'm going to say 4 is in there in that back corner, and 5 is there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same now on my elevation. I'm going to label all them points as much as I can anyway. Okay, so this is point 1, that front corner. I can't find point 2 yet. Back here is point 3 and 4 is directly behind it, so that becomes 3, 4. And obviously I can't do point 5 yet either because I had to project up this edge from be able to locate point 5, which will be directly behind point 2. Next, straight down into my plan. I'm going to outline my base first. It doesn't matter how much distance I leave between my plan and my elevation. Okay, so I'm going to say, so as we know, our XY is our vertical plane when we're talking about plan. So I'm going to say the boat is coming out 20 mil from my vertical plane. Okay, so 20 mil, that's the back edge of the boat. The boat is 80 mil deep. Of 80. Okay, so there's the outline of the base of the boat. Okay, this here I said was point 3. This here I'm looking at point 4. And point 1 is in the dead center of that front piece of that boat there. Okay, so that's point 1. Okay, so I need to find that there now. And I know it's in the center because that's showing me that that's my center line, long, short, long, short, long, short, all the way along. So the boat is 80 wide. That's obviously in my distance of 40. Sorry, I have an angle here actually instead. So I'm going to use that 30-degree angle to locate that for me there. Okay, so my 30-degree angle, I'm going to measure my distance of 40 first. So that's 40. This angle here, it's shown as my 30-degree angle. I know this is 90, this angle here is saying it's 30, so this angle here is going to be 60 degrees. Okay, because the 3 made to 180, so 60, 30 and 90. Okay, so I can go down then at my 60 degrees. Like so. So that gives me that point I was looking for that I can now project back up to my elevation. I'm also going to do it on the far side. Could just project that straight up and draw it in then wherever it crosses, or I can just go back up my 60 degrees, get the same result. Okay, so the outline of my boat, the outline of the base of it anyway, in my plan. Okay, so that was point 2, that was point 1, 3, that was 4, and that is point 5. Project up point 2 and 5 back up to my elevation. I now have my edge that I was looking for there. So that now becomes 2, 5 on the top. Okay, 2 is in front, 5 is behind it, that's why I label it 2, 5. When we're looking at in that direction, okay, we see point 2 first. Okay, next thing then is just outline the canopy. Looking down top, it's just a square 60 by 60. And again, we're just projecting straight down from elevation. So I'm not even remeasuring here, it's just the same thing, just project it down. And I know from my question, it's in a distance of 10 there. Okay, so just mark in 10. And I can have that in. And I can mark in 10, it's 60 mil wide altogether, which is in 10 again from that edge. Okay, so that's the canopy looking down on top. That's the base of the boat. That's the base of the boat from elevation. And that's my canopy and my elevation. Now, that there is surface A. Okay, in my elevation, I don't have a true shape of it because I'm looking 90 degrees this way on my elevation. I'm looking 90 degrees to my XY. So obviously that's my surface that's sloped away, so I don't see the true shape of it here. To see the true shape, I need to be looking 90 degrees to it, okay, which is basically that direction there. Okay, if I look in that direction, I will see the true shape of that surface, which is what we're going to do now. So looking 90 degrees to that surface, I need to draw an XY that's parallel with that surface. Okay, so over here, I'm just going to put in my XY, X1, Y1, that's what we're calling it, and it wants me to get the whole boat into view. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to project up the base of the boat. Okay, so I project up all my base points. So that's my X1, Y1. Project up all my points, starting at point 1. Okay, project that up. This in elevation, so the heights in this elevation have to be the same as the heights in this elevation, so I can just set my compass to that height if I want and take them off, or else I can just measure them. It's very simple, they're only 15 mil high for the base. Okay, so for example, point 1 ends up right there. Okay, so that's point 1 now in my new view. I do that for all the points. Point 2. So I'm just going to project all of these up, and then I'll strike a line, and that will give me the heights of them all without having to measure each one individually. Okay, so point 3 projected up, point 2 projected up, point 1 and point 5. And when that's done, I know they're all that height, and they're all parallel with my XY. Okay, so there's my base basically redrawn in my auxiliary elevation. So the front of it, that's 5. There's 1, which is the center line of the front of the boat. Okay, so you have point 2, point 3 and point 5. Okay, point 4, we can project it up. We're not going to see it because as we're looking at the boat, point 4 is at the back corner of it, so we can't actually see point 4. Okay, but we will project it up, and we'll put it in there as hidden detail, which is a dashed line like that. We can't see it, but it is there. If the boat is made of glass, obviously we won't be able to see it. Now, after that, what I want to do is I want to label my surface A. So that's my surface A in my normal elevation. That's an edge view of my surface A, which is surface A in plan. And here you have surface A in my auxiliary elevation. Okay, so it's been a guideline. I always put in guidelines as much as possible. Okay, so I'm just going to label this as true shape. So true shape of surface A. That's my true shape of surface A there. So I would always like to put them in with some bit of colour. Okay, so I'll get my yellow colouring pencil and I'll just label those in there. Okay, so I will say that my surface A, I'm just going to outline the surface in yellow just to make it stand out in all the views. Yes, there's the outline there, surface A in my plan. Of course, that's not a true shape, but what I have here is an edge view. Okay, I have an edge view there, surface A, and I'm looking down on top of that there, 90 degrees. So that is actually a true length there on surface A, and this here then becomes my true shape of surface A because I'm looking 90 degrees to the edge view of it there. So just use my set square, my colouring pencil, just then I shade it in. That's the true shape of surface A. Okay, after that now I need to get my canopy. Okay, so I'm just going to project up the points of my canopy again in the very same direction. They're all projected up in that direction. Okay, so I'll take the canopy, the box on the top first, and then I'll worry about the poles going up then after. Okay, so the height again, I'm taking it from my elevation, and I know then the thickness of the canopy as well. Okay, so I can see from my drawing the canopy is a height of 65 over the top of the boat, and then it's 10 mil in thickness. Okay, I can just take my measurements from my elevation here and put them on here, or just read them from the drawing as I've done. So the height of it there is 65 and it's 10 mil thick. Okay, and again my edges there are parallel. Yes, that's the outline, the canopy. So I'll see that corner or that edge, I'll see that one as well, and I'll also see this guy here, the one at the back, the same as edge 4. Okay, this one here at the back is going to be hidden. So I draw them in. I'm going to see that, lad. I'm going to see obviously the other extreme edge of it, and I'm also going to see the front one here. So follow that up, I'm also going to see that. Okay, the back one that's in it, that's going to be hidden detail, so that goes in as a dotted line. And you always show your hidden detail as a dotted line. Okay, shade that or heavy that in. After that, then I need to draw in the poles. Okay, so these are just represented by single lines. Okay, we will also have a little cutout here that we'll deal with in a minute. Okay, I need to go back and put that into my elevation, but we just have our poles there going up along. Okay, so again we will see the front pole going up that corner. We'll see the pole underneath this corner. Yeah, we'll see the pole, this back one here. We will also see all of the pole that's going up to that corner there. Okay, so there's my poles brought up in my auxiliary view. Okay, so we can see them there clearly in our drawing, and we can see them clearly in our auxiliary view as well. Now there is a bit of a dip in here, okay, a 10 mil recess inside in that boat there that I'm just going to put in, so it's directly underneath the canopy. Okay, so it's directly underneath here. Okay, so I'm going to put that in now. Again, that's hidden, so that's going to go in there as a dotted line. Okay, it goes all the way across the bottom as far as the far side of my canopy. I'll put this one in there. Okay, so there's that recess that's in the boat. We can't see it, it's hidden. That's why it becomes a dotted line or elevation. Same story with our auxiliary view. We projected it up. Okay, it's filling up the entire space of our canopy. So I can just line that in from here straight across to there, because that's directly underneath the canopy in that auxiliary view. And we can go straight across the bottom. Yeah, like so. Now, there are edges in that recess. Okay, it does go down into the boat. So I still want to put those in, although I can't see them. I want to put them in as hidden detail. Okay, just like here. So this point, that will also be a dotted line. Okay, because hidden detail in that view, and the same with this one here. Okay, so that's the 4 of those in. That one is just about in line there. A little bit of it shown. It's not exactly in line with my front point here. It's ever so slightly outside it. Okay, you can see it there projected up. It's ever so slightly outside it. So we will still see the dotted edge for that there in my auxiliary view. We can see it here. Okay, so anytime then you do a question, label your question. Okay, so we put that in lightly there, guidelines in very lightly for our writing, elevation, plan, and auxiliary elevation. Okay, so we have auxiliary elevation over here, showing the true shape of surface A. So this is my elevation, of my plan. And over here we label it. We also put our guidelines going the same way as our view. Okay, auxiliary elevation of you. Can't spell the word auxiliary, that's inside the question. Okay, so it's going to be given to you inside the question, so you're just copying it from there. Okay, auxiliary elevation. Showing through. And I'm running out of space, so just put another guideline underneath it. Shape of surface A. Okay, so that's an auxiliary elevation of the whole boat, okay, the whole object, but on it you can see the true shape of our surface A, which is what we're asked for.